What happens when soldiers return home after months or even years away? From heartfelt hugs to emotional surprises, these reunions will melt your heart and remind you of the unbreakable bond of family. Monty flew home directly after his deployment to surprise his siblings, and their heartwarming hugs made the reunion unforgettable. After 8 months away, Allie's husband returned from deployment and was greeted by their daughter's sweet and affectionate hug, melting everyone's hearts. Susanna's niece's homecoming from her deployment in Syria was a joyful family moment filled with excited hugs and love. Addie lovingly embraced her husband after his return from a 9-month deployment in a touching reunion. When Grace's husband came home from deployment, he hugged their daughter with warmth, creating one of their most cherished memories. Lisa gave her little girl the surprise of a lifetime by showing up at her school after months of deployment, leading to a tender and emotional hug. After 10 months away, Siobhan's husband reunited with his family, and their young daughter's adorable reaction stole the spotlight. Tammy's brother returned home after a year-long deployment, and together they surprised their mother in a beautiful and emotional reunion. After 498 days of military duty, Moore finally reunited with his mother and sister in a heartwarming and wholesome moment. This military man showered his doodle puppy with love and affection after returning home from a long deployment. It was so sweet when this military mom surprised her daughter with her return from deployment, hugging her with pure joy and love. Angelica and her husband surprised their kids with his unexpected homecoming from a year-long deployment in South Korea, filling the house with happiness. After 7 months apart, Brooke surprised his wife Hannah with his return, and she greeted him with a warm and emotional hug. Cyril's husband came home after a 6-month deployment, and their reunion with their kids was filled with joy and love. Casey shared an emotional moment when she reunited with her best friend returning from deployment, a memory they'll both treasure. Adriana's husband's homecoming was especially touching as he met their 2-month-old baby for the first time, and reunited with their toddler after nearly 6 months. Desiree's husband met their 8-month-old son for the first time after a 7-month deployment, holding him lovingly in a beautiful moment. After 6 long months apart, Paints's partner returned home, and she rushed to him, embracing him with overwhelming excitement. When Dominic returned from a 5-month deployment, his wife, Omo, was overcome with emotion, hugging him fiercely as tears streamed down her face. A military brother's surprise homecoming during his siblings' wedding left the groom overwhelmed and teary-eyed as they shared a heartfelt hug. Bailey's joyful reunion with her husband after his deployment was filled with love as she ran to hug him tightly. Cassidy's husband's return from deployment was met with joy and enthusiasm as she greeted him warmly. After nearly a year apart, Jenny finally reunited with her daughter, running to her with an emotional embrace. Yelka held her daughter tearfully after reuniting following 6 months of military service, calling it one of her happiest moments. When Ina graduated high school, her Marine brother surprised her after 4 months away, and they shared a joyful, tight hug. After a 1-year deployment, Jake reunited with his family, and his wife couldn't hold back her tears as they embraced. Pretzel surprised her daughter after 9 months away on deployment, filling their reunion with emotion and joy. Laura's husband returned home unexpectedly from deployment, stunning his children and meeting his 3rd daughter for the first time with a loving embrace.
Oh, man.
Daddy.
Daddy. Smile is so big.
Daddy.
He made a wish last night, didn't he, Declan? Did he? He did. What'd you wish last night?
What'd you wish?
Mwah.
I was my home.
You did.
Moa's surprise visit home after living in Canada for a year left her family astonished and overwhelmed with emotion. Soph's sister's reaction was adorable when she surprised her after months of living overseas. After 2 years in Australia, Elle surprised her family, and they hugged each other fiercely, overcome with joy. Lily's early return home for Thanksgiving left her family ecstatic as they rushed to embrace her. Ramirez surprised his mother in a heartwarming moment, leaving her unable to contain her emotions. Lear surprised his mother before finishing his service in the IDF, and she hugged him tightly, amazed by his return. Gabriel's surprise return from the military left his family stunned and overjoyed as they reunited with hugs and tears. Spasha's emotional reunion with her family after months of military deployment was filled with excited hugs and heartfelt joy. After an 8-month deployment, this girl's homecoming left her family ecstatic and embracing her with overwhelming emotion. Bryson's best friend surprised his mother after a year-long deployment, and their heartfelt reunion was filled with joy and gratitude. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this one as well.